is this? Some sort of slime or ectoplasm. I guess there's only one way to find out. Well, I managed to catch this thing and bring it back home before it could form some sort of ego's return or something, if you know what I mean. The Atari 2600, a game console that needed your imagination, just like a book. It's kind of fascinating to me how certain games try to tell a story with only displaying some dots and lines. Reading the instruction manuals was required, not optional. And yes, this is a filthy mess. I really don't know what this liquid is. This is how I find this thing at my attic. Seems like a sort of oil. I really need to take care not to spread it all over the place. Jeez, it's all over the PCB as well. Well, I will start off by giving the housing a triple wash with warm water and some ectoplasm be gone. But sure, you can also use some soap. But I want to make sure every paranormal particle will be washed off for good. The skunk entered every little cavity, so I use a toothbrush to clean every little corner of the shell and give it another wash. After 3 washes, it finally all came off. It seems like this mysterious liquid has somehow conserved the outer console somehow. It looks brand new. Oh man, I wish I could wash the PCB in some water as well, but that will certainly kill it. So I use some window cleaner instead, and some paper towels and Q-tips for cleaning it. The antenna cable can be removed pretty easily, as I found out after cleaning it. There are 4 foam discs around the switches, certainly preventing dust from entering the console. Again, this substance seems to help the foam from disintegrating somehow. I just hope this stuff is not conductive, in case there are still remains after cleaning it. I need to remove the double-sided metal shielding that is clamped together by little twist latches. So I carefully untwist them and take them apart. With a business card, some paper towel and a window cleaner, I clean the cartridge contacts by inserting and pulling it out again multiple times. After an hour of cleaning, I put everything back together. By the way, other than Nintendo's Famicom that came out in 1981, Atari consoles didn't have any lockout chip, so it was actually possible to play NTSC games on a PAL console as long you had a multi-region CRT TV. The game ROMs would run a slight amount slower as they were now clocked at 50 Hz instead of 60 Hz. That is still the frequency standard in the US today. Here I use a metal cleaning agent to polish the switches and get rid of any oxidation. I am still not sure if they are only metal coated plastic or actual metal, but it definitely made an improvement. Look at this. The power supply seems okay. Let's have a quick look inside here. And yeah, in that time they simply screwed open. This looks alright, no mysterious goo in here. After cleaning the cable and the plug, let's test if we have output here. The power supply is rated at 9 volts DC at 500 milliamps. So let's see if we get any sign of life here. Okay, we have 15 volts. A little high, but as it is the original power supply, it should be fine, I guess. Let's see if there's some magic smoke coming out when I plug this thing in. It seems alright, I guess. Or maybe it's completely dead. We will see when we hook it up to our TV. But first there are some more things to do. I will put a piece of clear tape over the model sticker to conserve it before reassembling the console in the sunset. History-wise, the Atari 2600 or CX 2600 was released in 1977. The one I am working on today is the CX 2600 AP. A stands for the newer second version, released in the 1980s, and P stands for PAL. Other than the first console, the second version only has 4 switches on the top panel, as they have moved the skill switches to the back. The first version also consisted of 2 PCBs, the motherboard and the switchboard, that were later combined into one motherboard that is mounted diagonally into the chassis. The actual console is brought back to a mint condition. No more weird slime whatsoever. But will it work? First I need to clean all the peripherals, such as the joystick and the pedals. Therefore I disassemble them carefully. Watch out the little spring from the push button. The PCB is weirdly hooked up to the cabling. I never saw that kind of connection before. But they are nicely to disassemble actually. I took a picture before to find back the correct pattern, even it is written on the PCB as well. After rinsing off all the plastics, they can now be reassembled. I carefully reconnect the wires, taking care of connecting them the right order before screwing everything back together. The pedals look alright from the outside, but something seems to broke off in the inside. So it seems to be the end point of the potentiometer that broke off. Now you can turn the knob endlessly. Taking these controllers apart is pretty easy. Only unscrew the screws and you're in. Remove all the parts after taking a photo where they belong, then give the plastics a nice soapy wash. By using some liquid plastic, I stick back on the plastic pin and harden it with the UV light. Then I reinforce it with several layers of it by hardening out one coat after each other. Some alcohol or contact spray helps to clean the contacts and get rid of those wiggly controls you often got with those old controllers. Reassembling it is easy when you have a picture and goes fairly quick. And this fix worked pretty good. Now last thing to do is to clean the actual game cartridges. You can take them apart, but there is a screw under the label, and as I don't want to break them, I decided to only clean the contacts and the outer shell. Therefore I push back the spring-loaded dust cover and clamp it shut with 2 toothpicks or Q-tips. For cleaning the contacts, I use a mixture out of rubbing alcohol and baking soda. Then I clean off the baking soda with some pure rubbing alcohol. One is done, 11 to go. Well, this step is optionally, but to avoid having the cartridges lying around everywhere, I decided to build me a cartridge organizer. Therefore I take the dimensions of the cartridge and threw them into Coral Laser, a laser cutting software. If you want to see me how I built this thing, click on the link in the description below or in the upper right corner. The finished vectorized graphic can also be downloaded in the description of the linked video. Now the moment of truth. Is this thing still working? I especially pulled out my old CRT TV and hooked everything up. Load the cartridge holder and get me a drink. No way! There it is. This thing works as on its first day.
The fun is back! Oh yes, siree! It's the 2600 from Atari.
If you like that video, please leave me a thumbs up and a comment. If you don't like the video, give me a thumbs down, that's okay too. Please subscribe for more retro videos coming up pretty soon. Until then, see ya!
Under 50 bucks! 50 bucks? Now isn't that nice? The fun is back! Oh yes, siree! It's the 2600 from Atari.